Daredevil Born Again, Series 1, Episode 3, titled The Hollow of His Hand. Now, this episode I absolutely really enjoyed. I was on the edge of the seat for the entire episode. I was glued to the TV screen. But I understand a lot of people will find this episode boring for two reasons. But the main one is it's a courtroom drama. It's a courtroom drama. And not everyone likes courtroom dramas. There's a good chunk of people who think courtroom dramas are just people sitting on their asses and who just talk and nothing really is happening. But for me, with this episode, definitely this episode made me realize that if you're able to do a courtroom drama really well, you understand the three-act story structure. Because if you think about it, the accused, or even the crime itself, is the Cadillacs. And then the witnesses are forming the acts and giving you the ups and downs that needs to be engaging. And the accused is, it's like, oh, this is happening. Oh, there's a big twist here. Everything's the highs and lows. Like, okay, the main characters, the lawyers and the accused are on the top of the mountain. They seem like everything's gonna be fine. Oh shit, something's happening, and makes them not believe in them, believe that they're going to lose the trial. And also extra stuff like in this episode, we got the informant. Last week, Matt bumps into the informant. That kept getting beaten up by the Punisher cops. Let's go to the Punisher cops, even though they have no, because they just have the tattoos of the Punisher, which is of course reflecting a real life thing, where of a law enforcement wearing the Punisher having the Punisher logo, because they look up to the Punisher's methods and approve on his methods. Which I would say this, and all the fictional characters as well, really the Punisher's the one that you say, yeah, I approve of what that person does. Really? That's weird. But they beat up the enforcement. But Matt says, come to court, testify. Oh no, we can't have that. We can't have him testify. So there's that whisk of, oh no, the crooked cops, the Punisher cops, they're trying to stop him testifying. Will he be on the trial on time? Will he be at the court on time? That's a sense of risk and danger. You have a sense of, another escalation, which is, oh, Matt Murdock reveals that the White Tiger is the White Tiger. Oh my God, that's changing things. What is the court going to do? What's going to happen? What's this? What's that? Like, there's so level of escalations and build up onto this 45-minute episode that's all about a courtroom, about a trial, that makes it engaging. And of course, the big question is he guilty or not guilty? And you're hoping for not guilty. Does he get not guilty? He does. And you as an audience go, oh, thank God. Thank God. And that's what you say. And it's just a really good... I was like really diving into it. I was like eating it all up. Once again, I understand people ain't gonna feel the same way as I did. But like, and even the times that I start questioning like things, I start realizing, oh yeah, that's why that would be a big deal. Because for the whole time, there's this whole thing of like, real heroes don't wear masks. And I'm like, guys, you live in the MCU. Like, in New York, I remember the Battle of New York with the aliens of the side. Guess who saved your fucking life? Costume heroes, right? So, there's a part of me that's like, well, what's the difference? Like, why are you making a big deal of it? Is White Tiger at the same level as Captain America? Is he just the same level as a Avenger or something? And then I slowly realized, like, this isn't the comic book universe. The secret identity concept in the MCU is like throw out of the building. Unless your name's Daredevil or Spider-Man, you don't have a secret identity, right? So people know that Captain America is Steve Rogers and Bruce Banner is the Hulk and Thor is Thor and Tony Stark is Iron Man and Clint Barton is Hawkeye and so forth and so forth. People know that. So there's probably a sense of like, well, they're not hiding. We know who they are. We know their faces and who they are. They can walk around and they basically are celebrities and stuff like that. And also, even though there is, a world now in the context of the show, that it's in a world where, Northology is real and, green monsters happen and wizards and so forth and so forth. The truth is, as much as crazy the world is, you want a sense of normalcy. You want to have a sense of, it doesn't matter how crazy the world is, this is a sense of normalcy. You want some normalcy. You remember the time when alien invasions wasn't happening every Tuesday. You want to remember that day and you want to treat it as that. And so I understand the concept of like, heroes don't wear masks, and you're thinking, what's the difference? Those are the difference. People don't see the Avengers as vigilantes. They probably see them more as the level of the military, more on the lines of things, where something horrible happens, where, like, I don't know, the president has turned into a Hulk. Sam Wilson as a Captain America needs to, come and stop them. It's more like a level of, like, the citizens of the regular people of the MCU probably just sees, the Avengers or the Marvel heroes more like the military than vigilantes, really. They probably do see like someone like Spider-Man, as a vigilante, but not as much without the characters. But I will say this, the question is going to go more and more up when we get mutants. Definitely when we get when we dive into the mutant side of things, or if the Fantastic Four show up in the regular, multiverse in the MCU reality, because in the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out later this year, they are not in our world, in the MCU world, not in the Earth 616, they're in their own reality through the multiverse. So anyway, so there's that. There was that question in my head going on. Also, I couldn't help but laugh a little bit where, the guy that clearly Matt beat up last episode. I couldn't help but laugh a little bit because I'm like, why? You can't do anything towards Matt. You can't say, oh, the blind lawyer beat me up, because everyone's going to laugh at you because he's blind, and, once again, even though you realize, well, I mean, you live in a world where this happened, the Avengers happen, at the same time, people don't want to accept the idea, like, oh, maybe, there's more to him. Maybe the blind lawyer has some kind of ability, I couldn't help but laugh at it. Like, oh, yeah, Batman could beat the shit out of everyone if he wants, and no one would believe that, he probably would never get accused, because people ain't gonna believe that. Who beat you up? Oh, the blind guy. And he beat me up like you could see. Like, I couldn't help but laugh at that. Now, of course, the big thing at the end is that White Tiger, spoiler alert, White Tiger is found not guilty. He realizes he's not allowed to be White Tiger anymore. Probably the days of being White Tiger is gone, but he decides to wear the costume one more time because he says to Matt, "It's who I am. It's who I am. That's how I am. It's I can breathe when I'm White Tiger." So he puts it on, and he just walks around. Probably he knows it's gonna be his last day on Earth. It's probably his last night. And he gets shot in the head, which is a big, like, holy shit. And then you see then you see that the shooter, we don't see the guy's face, but we see what he's wearing. He's wearing a Punisher. He's wearing the Punisher logo. A lot of people's going to see that's Frank. They really think that it's Frank Castle. And we know that Frank Castle, the actual Punisher, is going to be in the show. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that's a misdirect. Because we're constantly seeing, in this episode alone, we have seen that logo popping up everywhere. And sensing the presence of Frank. The presence, like, if you know the Punisher, you sense his presence. And understanding that he has law enforcement that look up to him and have has his logo tattooed on him. So I don't think it's the Punisher. I think it's one of the law enforcement using that logo to as a way. It's like, a Punisher cult. But it's essentially what it is. People use the Punisher's methods, and it's someone else using it. Using the Punisher. So I think it's a miscorrect. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I really liked it. I enjoyed the cooking scene. So it's quite interesting to see, like, oh yeah, how does a blind man cook? Because, like, he needs to know, like, oh, the meat is good. Like, the food is just right and all that. I'm quite curious. So it's interesting how a blind man cooks. But I do like the scene of him talking to his girlfriend. Forgot her name, the psychiatrist. I'm curious about, if you are a psychiatrist, how hard is it to switch it off? Because you are so used to just listening to people and giving them advice and adjusting things, and when is it time to just shut it off? I'm wondering if that's actually a thing, but when Matt says, partner, law school, there was a second that thought me thinking, oh, is he talking about Elektra? Is he talking about Elektra? Because, they met at law school as well. But no, he's talking about Foggy. Because he said partner, like, my ex-partner, a formal partner. It's like, yeah. Someone could easily think he's talking about Elektra, but in reality, he's talking about Foggy. And so even though we don't see, Foggy's no longer with the show, he has passed away. You sense his presence. And we are going to see Foggy in season 2. It's being stated along with Karen. I think Karen will be in this season, but maybe in the later half, and that. Now the second thing I can understand people not liking this episode. I think for the next 2 episodes, which I understand now why they decided to put episode 5 and episode 6 together in one night, is that Matt is going to be wearing the Daredevil outfit. And even though sometimes you want to give people the storytelling one-on-one, like, hey, we gave you the reason why Matt's going to be Daredevil for X amount of episodes, we are still, or us as audiences, even though you explain it to us, we still want to see it. And we get annoyed by it. So a lot of people, even though you explain, like, okay, this horrible event happened, Matt has handed up the cow, he's no longer going to be Daredevil for X amount of episodes, but still, people are going to be saying in episode 3, where's my Daredevil? We're acting like a child who's saying, I want the chocolate, I want the toy, and our parents are giving it to us. Or we don't have patience. That's basically what it is sometimes, I think, us as audience members. Even though we maybe understand the story structure of it, we are quite, we get quite easily impatient. We get like, yeah, but where's Daredevil? I want my Daredevil. I want my Daredevil. And I'm like, look, I'm always a big fan of, like, the old saying, if the writing's good, you kind of don't care. having a scene where Matt is swinging through the city using that stick of his wouldn't add anything to the story. If you add this episode and add a Daredevil moment, whatever it would be, would it be needed for the episode? Was it needed for story wise? If you start using that, to start thinking, yeah. There's a part of me that sometimes I feel like every audience member needs to take like a one-on-one narrative swatcher class or something, literature class or something to understand story swatcher. But anyway, comment below. Let me know your thoughts of episode 3. Jeez, I've been talking about this episode for 15 minutes. So anyway, comment below. Let me know your thoughts.